Blog Talk Radio.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Naima Latif, every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, Executive Producer of the Female Solution Radio Show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. Grand Rising, and thank you for joining us on this Monday Morning Mindfulness edition.
Is Monday morning a struggle to get out of bed, into the swing of things? Well, don't worry, you are not alone. Join us for thought-provoking, stimulating, and mindful conversations on higher learning with Zelda Speaks for your Monday morning mindfulness sessions on Blog Talk Radio, The Female Solution, Mondays, 7:30 until 9 a.m. Be sure and send your ideas, thoughts, comments, and suggestions. Also, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, visit ZeldaSpeaks.com and send us your info. We'd love to have you. Experience mindfulness moments with the mindfulness/stress relief coach, Zelda Speaks. And thanks for sharing the mindfulness moment tip of the day. Stay on purpose, stay empowered, and stay tuned to your next session of mindfulness on higher learning with Zelda Speaks. Make it a mindful day. And thanks for listening.
And thank you all for joining us on this Monday morning edition of the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naima Latif, and our Monday morning mindfulness host, Zelda, is traveling this morning, but we will, as always, on our first Monday of the month, have our special guest co-host, Lionel Abdul Haqque of Community Cultivations. And we want you to tune on in and call in 515-605-9325 and press 1 when you're ready to speak so we can get your contribution to this invigorating discussion. Mission Impossible. Black history. Our guest co-host Lionel Abdul Haqque is going to talk to us about the connection between the two, and we need to evoke some thought as we prepare for this upcoming school year, what are we putting in the minds of our children? And what are we expecting to get out of them based on what we are allowing them to be programmed with? Are we really preparing them for the future that we want to see? Or are we going to inflict them with more of the same, which produces more of what we don't want to see in our children or in our society? We've got a mission, and if we do it right, it won't be impossible, but it's going to take a whole lot of heart and skill and daring to pull it off. We're going to take a quick break and come back and give you a few news updates, get you relaxed with some Monday morning mindfulness, breathing, and relaxation, and then we'll hear from Lionel Abdul Haqque from Community Cultivation. I'm Naima Latif, sitting in for our dear sister Zelda as she travels the globe and maybe gets an opportunity to give us an update. We'll be right back after this quick break, so we want you to stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be right back after this message, so stay with us. Are back listening to and watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naima Latif, sitting in for our Monday morning mindfulness host, Zelda Speaks. And as always, we appreciate you for listening in and calling in. This is the first Monday of the month, and we, as always, will introduce to you Lionel Abdul Haqque of Community Cultivation, and we want to talk about Mission Impossible, Black history. Let's take a look at what is the connection, and let's take a look at our responsibility to correct that which we know is incorrect, to produce that which is best for ourselves and our future. Well, we want to give you a little bit of an update, and as always, we know that Monday mornings start out your day and can set the tone for your week. So we want you to start out in a way that relaxes your mind. And there's a reason why we do these breathing exercises every Monday morning. Not only does getting the oxygen to your brain help in the empowerment of your mind by stimulating those brain cells and helping your brain make those necessary connections. This is an electrical system up here, and it's got to make connections. And the means for that is giving it necessary oxygen. But not only that, your brain is able to send signals to the rest of your body. And the signal we want the brain to send is not fight or flight or freeze, which is the stress signal, but the signal to relax. To relax and be able to function smoothly so that you can think clearly and receive information. We are antenna connected to all the other antenna in the universe, which are all the other life forces around the globe and beyond. And when we are relaxed, we are able to receive the information. And this is what inspiration is. It's when you are receiving information that's for your highest good. Your creative energy is stimulated. This is why it's called inspiration, because you are injecting that breath of life, and you are inspired as you inhale and receive that which is meant for your highest good, because you're in a state of relaxation and your body gets all that it needs in terms of blood flow and oxygen flowing to every part of your body, and all of your cells being rejuvenated with the breath of life. When we're tense and we're hardly breathing, we're actually starving ourselves of needed oxygen and nutrients. So it's best to start out the day relaxed, because we know that Monday morning is often the great stressor for so many people. Do you know that the greatest number of heart attacks happen on Monday morning? And there's a reason for that. Generally, this starts your workday, and most people face their jobs with stress. Unfortunately, most of us are going to places that we'd really rather not be, but we feel that we must be in order to earn a living and keep from having the distress of not having basic necessities such as food and shelter. So there's a stress level that comes with fear that's triggered on Monday mornings. And if there's anything happening in your workplace that causes you anxiety, you wake up in the morning ready to face that anxiety. So we want you to relax and release all anxiety. We had great activities here in the city of Chicago over the weekend. The Black Women's Expo at McCormick Place drew thousands and thousands, and of course, as always, the vendors had an opportunity to further promote their products and services and interact with the audience, the attendees of this event. shout out to Mary Green, who does a fantastic job every year. But Chicago is a tourist town. And so people come from all over the world to enjoy what we have here. There was also Lollapalooza, major concert going on this weekend, which again drew thousands. And we certainly know that there are big music fans that crowded into the downtown space, even weathered some of the rain. And then we had the Soulful Chicago Book Fair with our own Asada. And as always, brilliant authors gave us something to think about with their literary works, and we had a chance to interview them as our first Saturday of the month host joined us live from London, England, Jana. And if you missed that show, we want you to go back in the archives and listen, because it was definitely quite an inspirational conversation with those minds among us who use their creative talent to tell a story that can touch our hearts and enlighten our minds and inspire us to become our best selves. So all of the things happening this weekend in and around the city of Chicago, as well as wherever you live, were opportunities for us to interact, to meet new friends, and to demonstrate how well we have learned how to live in a state of higher consciousness, which is a state of peace. How well did you do that? Were you able to interact with people without snapping at them? Were you able to have experiences and feel joy without anxiety or worry that somebody was going to harm you in some way? Were you able to project loving energy into the crowds that you entered, whether it be a crowded bus or a crowded room or a crowded parking lot full of people? How were you affecting the atmosphere where you spent your time this weekend? Did you meet a new friend who's part of our global family? Did you touch someone's heart with an act of kindness? Was someone kind to you? And did you feel a bit of hope, knowing that our world really is becoming a better place to live? It really is. Well, we want you to prepare your mind to project those positive vibrations. Because as we breathe, we are breathing in the breath of life. We are breathing in the spirit of life. We're bringing in the source of life. And as we breathe out, we are projecting our high vibrations into the atmosphere, connecting with all the other higher vibrational beings and influencing the vibration that we put forth, that's being felt by all of those in our midst. And we can send high vibrations of joy just by where we're sitting and breathing. So we want you to sit up straight. If you're sitting in your chair, imagine a string going from the sky connected to your head, pulling you straight, so you're hanging from the sky and your spine is in alignment. natural alignment, not slumping, because we want you to be in alignment so that your lungs are able to be filled with air. And you can close your eyes so that the darkness that your eyes see shuts out visual stimulation. And you can concentrate on the audio signal of my voice and relax. Relax your shoulders. Relax your hands. You may place them on your knees. Relax your ankles, your feet as you place your feet flat on the ground. And relax your mind. As you breathe in slowly to the count of 5 through your nose. And breathe out slowly through your mouth. As you breathe in, relax your mind. Remove thoughts. And look at the darkness as a blank blackboard with nothing written on it. Empty your mind and fill your lungs with one long breath. Through your nose, breathe in and hold it to the count of 5 and then breathe out through the mouth. Once again, breathe in, the count of 5, and breathe out slowly through the mouth. You can literally slow down your brain waves to a relaxed state. And in this relaxed state is where your creativity lies. The relaxation of your mind is what empowers you to receive inspiration. Today, prepare to be inspired with a new idea that solves a question that you had. Allow it to flow to you and come through you as you breathe in. Hold it to the count of 5. And breathe out. Again, breathe in. Hold it to the count of 5. And breathe out. Once again, breathe in. And slowly breathe out. Breathe in. And think of the positive images of joy flow to your mind. Breathe in. Hold it to the count of 5. And breathe out. Joy is a vibration, and it attracts a like vibration. Every vibration attracts its like vibration. Have you ever noticed that when you are agitated, more people whose behavior annoys you seem to cross your path? The more annoyed you are, the more annoyed you become. The more irritated you are, the more irritated you become. The more angry you are, the more angry you become. Because you are vibrational energy, sending out a signal. And what is returning to you is a like signal that's mirroring what you're putting forth. So if you start your Monday mornings with agitation and irritation, you will draw it to you. So we want to create the opposite. Joy is a vibration, and when you send it forth, it comes back to you. What you put in your mind will create a vibration. If you put in your mind images of conflict and violence, you will create the vibration in your being, in yourself, and you will project it, and it will return to you. So instead of starting your day with the worst news, start your day with information that brings you joy. We spoke to you about joyful events happening this weekend. What joyful event happened in your life this weekend? What moment of joy can you conjure up? So now as you close your eyes, on the blank screen of your mind, bring forth an image of a moment of joy and feel the vibration of joy. That attractive stranger that smiled at you. That kind elderly person that gave you a word of wisdom. That child that laughed and brought back such memories from your childhood. Bring that memory to your mind and feel the vibration of joy as you breathe in. Hold it to the count of 5. And breathe out. If you have any thoughts in which you felt uncomfortable, we want you to expel them from your mind. So once again, breathe in the vibration of joy and expel anything that is not of the higher consciousness of joy. Let it go. Breathe out. Now, we want you to breathe in that vibration of joy. Hold it for the count of 5. And now we want you to send vibrations of joy out into the atmosphere. Love, peace, and joy. Breathe out. get ready to attract to yourself love, peace, and joy today. We'll be right back with Lionel Abdul Haqque of Community Cultivations. And we want you to call in 515-605-9325 and press 1 when you're ready to speak, and we will gladly open your microphone and get your thoughts as we prepare to learn a lesson about Mission Impossible and Black history. How do they relate? We'll be right back after this quick break, so we want you to stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us.
Do you want to live in a world without war? Join our global peace movement. Heavenly Culture World Peace Restoration of Light transcends culture, religion, ideology, and other boundaries to achieve peaceful harmony in the global society. HWPL is committed to bringing world peace and cessation of war through peaceful dialogue between religious groups. I am Director Shin-Suk Kim of the HWPL Chicago branch of North America. Join us for our next gathering. Call 773-580-1501 and be a part of the movement for world peace. Email us at chicagohwpl@gmail.com.
We have an opportunity to transform the whole global society in the next 50 years. 50 years from now, the earth will be populated by a new generation of adults, many of whom are yet unborn. Our mission is to nurture them in childhood with love, guidance, and protection, and to raise them in healthy, happy families. If we impart values of compassion, generosity, and respect for fellow human beings in the next generation of children, they will create a world where people can live together in peace. This is our goal. Be a part of the transformation. Get your copy of the book, The Female Solution. Go to www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com. The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Self-Care with Jody Susan. Wednesdays, Repairing Broken Families with Naima Latif and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green. And Fridays, Health and Well-Being with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Success Strategies with Jana. Second Saturday, Wendy Williams Esquire on relationships. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. And fourth Saturday, Wisdom with Mama D. Join us Sundays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Call in and comment 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak to the host and be a part of the solution. And we are back. You are listening to and watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV Show. I'm Naima Latif, and I'm sitting in today for our wonderful Monday morning mindfulness host, Zelda Speaks, and she is traveling, and we certainly look forward to hearing from her as she continues her life adventures. And, of course, this first Monday of the month, we have with us our regular guest co-host, our dear brother Lionel Abdul Haqque of Community Cultivation. And we are so excited because, as always, we have a conversation that is going to enlighten your mind. So if you are listening online and want to join this conversation, give us a call, 515-605-9325, and press 1 when you're ready to speak. And we will gladly add your voice to the conversation. And let us welcome Lionel Abdul Haqque of Community Cultivation. Thank you for joining us.
Peace be with you. I'm glad to be here once again. I really appreciate the opportunity to share with your listening audience and to receive the benefit, the responses from this discussion. It's something that I look forward to. I don't get too many opportunities to express these ideas in an open setting where I'm responded to directly by your listening audience, and I appreciate that opportunity very much.
Well, we certainly appreciate you so very much, and we've already got callers on the switchboard ready to get involved in today's discussion. So tell us what's on your heart today. We know we are in the midst of about to enter another school year, and the question arises, what are we teaching our children? And what do we expect them to manifest based on how we're allowing them to be programmed? And if we don't like what's happening, then how do we change it and do something different? So give us your insights.
Oh, praise be to Allah. I think it's important for people to always keep in mind the reality that all that exists was here before we got here, and the wisdom that the Creator, Allah, Yahweh, Jehovah, however people understand, is based on the way the world has been established and the order, the natural order that's in creation. All of it came from our Creator, and it's all good. It's all good, as they say. And I think that the problems that we have developed in the world for a really short time in human history, we have developed as a result of being misled, bamboozled, run amok, and led astray. And the power, the energy, the forces that are operating in the modern world to shape, to guide, to manipulate the world of human beings, is one that is diametrically opposed to the natural order that was established by the Creator. And as a consequence of that, we have things in our world that were never intended to be a part of the growth process that the natural order facilitates. And so consequently, we have all kinds of conflict. We have all kinds of, as you were talking about earlier, vibrational disturbances affecting our inner consciousness and our lives, consequently, our behavior. And this is why the idea of the Mission Impossible as a discussion for today is one that I've been working on for quite some time. This concept of the impossible dream has been resonated with me since I heard Sammy Davis Jr. singing when I was a child on the Ed Sullivan Show. The idea of expressed in that song is about a man who is striving to fulfill something meaningful in his life, something that came as a part of a vision, a dream or a vision. And this is inspired. This is what happens in the lives of people who make tremendous contributions throughout history. They have a vision. They see something. They're connected with that natural order in a way that distinguishes them and their role as being different, as being something that's not going to be accorded a lot of support. It's not going to be accorded a lot of encouragement. But this is something, and it's also going to be a mission that is going to require a great deal of patience and internal fortitude that will allow you to sustain the loneliness, the isolation, the persecution, the ridicules that you will receive. And the series Mission Impossible was a groundbreaking, very, very well thought out series that involved one of the first black African American stars in this relatively new medium called television. And the idea of this Mission Impossible force, this force that the government agency, secret government agency, kind of like what they call deep state forces that operate on behalf of the government, but if they ever get caught or captured, they will be disavowed. The government will disavow any knowledge of their actions. I'm trying to draw this out as shortly as possible, but it's very full. It's been a big part of my life for a long time. And I hope I'm not boring people, but the ideas that are being conveyed in this concept of the impossible dream and Mission Impossible are connected to the efforts of King Herod to stop the birth of Jesus, to prevent the birth of Jesus. It wasn't necessarily Jesus, it was to stop the birth of a Savior who, according to a historical natural order that they knew about, that they had studied and had been informed about, that would produce whatever leadership and guidance the people would need naturally, that it would come. Any opposition that the natural order that Allah had established has been existing for a long time, that when these powers, these forces gathered to take over or to change that and to become a different world order, they had done things to stop or to interrupt the natural order and create something different. And as a consequence, what Herod was doing and what they say Pharaoh was doing with the stop the birth of Moses before Jesus is part of a impossible mission to stop the will of God, to revert or to subvert the process, the natural process of life-giving and fulfilling energy that would grow humanity to its fulfillment, from infancy to maturity, as one of my teachers used to say. So what has happened with this story, this concept of Mission Impossible and the emergence of black superstar or images on TV, which was a big deal, a really big deal. And the character that played the role in that story was Greg Morris, the late Greg Morris. And the one who's playing it in the story, the continual Mission Impossible series in the movie series, is Ving Rhames, noted actor, a very powerful brother. And the role that they play is so significant in context of the connection of the deceitful world to the world that Allah had created and the order that Allah had created in the natural sciences, mathematics, motion, and there are a couple other ones that I can name, but I don't want to go into detail. But that is what these characters, these black characters in the Mission Impossible series, are good at. They are very good at it. And the mission that they perform could not be performed without that expertise. And this is natural science. So the world of the satanic influences who are really running this world now, this is what they have tapped into, and they have used deception to misguide people away from those natural sciences, those natural orders.
You know, Brother Lionel, that is really fascinating that you make that analogy, because I remember, and like you say, the black man was very revolutionary at that time to have him be the technician that worked behind the scenes that made all of the impossible missions actually manifest, because they would be doing some impossible thing to do, and it involved a lot of planning, and you never knew that all the things happening were actually part of the plan. But sometimes you would see when things looked like they might go awry, but it was that black man working underground, rewiring things.
It was a team effort for sure. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of deception. There was a lot of deception involved.
Yes.
There was a lot of deception. And the deception part was coming from the other people. But the black man was really, his role was definitely connected to natural science, natural law. And so it's a long thing, but I wanted to make it clear that there's a connection between the movement of the modern world from the ancient Greeks up to the modern world to today. They call it Hellenistic. Hellenistic is the way they have described that whole period, and anything connected to it is called Hellenistic, including the modern world. So the idea that I'm trying to draw into the discussion is the idea that there's a connection between the movement to stop this natural process of bringing forth saviors, heroes, if you will, Haru, if you will, this was going to happen. You can't stop it. It's a natural process. And the impossible mission of the modern world, the satanically led modern world, is to be on the lookout for any individual, any movement, anything that would cause a disruption of their plan and a generation of a natural process moving among the people. And this is what Herod was looking for. This is what they say ancient pharaohs were looking for when they wanted to stop the rise of the heroes to free the slaves, although there really wasn't no slaves. So anyway, my point is that this is a divine movement. This is the movement of out of darkness into light, Armageddon. All of that is connected in the context of the impossible mission of this world to stop what God has set up and what He plans, and that's the impossible mission. And they are using the little knowledge they have of natural sciences and vibrations and stuff. They're just starting to really get into how wrong they've been in their study of quantum physics. But that's basically what it is. Now there's more, but I don't want to take up too much time. That's just to get us started on this discussion.
Yeah, and then we're going to take a caller right after the break. We've got callers on the switchboard that want to contribute their thoughts, so go right ahead. Okay. So were you going to take a break, or are you going to continue to talk? We got a couple more minutes before the break. Well, let me take this caller since they've been holding on at area code 312-632. Grand Rising.
Admiral Nelson Bay. Grand Rising, Brother Lionel. Abdul, Haqque, I love what you're saying there, sir. And to you, Sister Magnity,
peace be with you. Peace be with you.
You are on point, sir. There are two forces in the universe, one divine, the other satanic. The Baha'i faith, there is no other way than the Baha'i faith. Meaning, in this instance, yes, sir. May I finish, please?
Go ahead.
You know, for decades, I've gone to, the Final Call Administration building the Nation of Islam. In 1984, in the Final Call Administration building, I asked a rhetorical question to Minister Farrakhan. I said, I take it that you've heard of the Baha'i faith and you know about the Bab. To which Brother Minister Farrakhan said, yes, brother, that means the door. Mahdidom is something that in Iran is very serious business. It's very serious business anywhere in the Islamic world. Your point as it regards to Greg Morris always being there. He was in all of the Mission Impossible, along with Paul Lucas, I believe, the strongman. Pardon?
Oh, yeah. Remember, yeah. Of course, all of us are dating are going to be 50 plus if you remember that show, but yes.
Indeed.
Well, I think it's still having on reruns in some place.
Yeah, that's true, too.
Indeed.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. You're absolutely on point. I would add to that, I am actually establishing a parallel economy running alongside World Economic Forum. I, for months, in my mind, have thought somehow I'm supposed to speak to Dr. Henry Kissinger, who is the mentor, Klaus Schwab, that funny-looking German Nazi fellow. You will own nothing, only be happy, that guy. I am born for this time, and I am so full of the spirit. I was at Black Women's Expo today, and wow,
brother, you're rambling, brother. It was kind of hard to follow where you're coming from with this.
Can you hear me better now?
It's not that I don't hear you. It's that I'm trying to follow where you're going with this conversation.
Yeah, if you can make your point in the next minute, because we got to take a break in a moment. So you're about to tell us something with the Black Expo, Women's Expo that you saw that pertains to what we were saying about the evolving and exposing plan and that sort of thing of the world's evolution. You were about to tell us. And then
yes, I publicly displayed what is called World Health Digital Passport, the best and only electronic version of international certificates, not of vaccination or prophylaxis, but the International Certificate of Prophylaxis. For all practical intents and purposes, I suppose I'm supposed to trademark that. And it's a very valuable intellectual property. And, we'll see as time goes on.
What we're talking about.
It has everything to do with what you're talking about.
Yeah, we got to take a break.
It has everything to do with what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, we definitely appreciate your sharing your inspiration. We got to take a break and come right back because this is a time for us to put forth plans that are different than what's expected, as our brother Lionel Abdul Haqque is saying throughout history. When there is about to be a change, the powers that be believe that the change is coming from where they can see, but it always comes from a place that's hidden. And just like in that Mission Impossible episode, you never know what's happening behind the scenes, underground, by people who have wisdom and knowledge and skills to manifest what you had no idea they were even working on. So many of us are inspired to create something that is going to change the world we live in. And it's not going to come from the people that are seen, the perhaps wealthy celebrities that are in the news all the time. The change is going to come from someplace that no one is looking at and watching. And suddenly we'll look up and something that we thought was impossible has been achieved. And the world we're living in will be transformed. How will that happen? And is that an impossible mission? Well, we'll be right back to talk more with our guest co-host, Lionel Abdul Haqque, and we want to hear from you. Give us a call, 515-605-9325. Press 1 when you're ready to speak, and we will gladly open your mic and get your thoughts. We'll be right back after this quick break, so stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us.
Are you constantly arguing with your spouse? Are your children misbehaving and acting out? Is someone in your family abusing drugs? Have you been the victim of domestic violence? Are you grieving over the loss of a loved one? Let us help you restore serenity to your life. At Serenity Family Social Services, we understand that good mental health is the result of emotional well-being. Our goal is to assist you and your family in removing emotional distress and restoring harmony and balance to your lives. We offer individual, couples, and family counseling. I'm Howard Williams, CEO of Serenity Family Social Services. Call us today at 312-315-4820. That's 312-315-4820.
Everything you need, what your body needs, is found in nature. So Susan Essentials doesn't do it any other way. Susan Essentials provides your employees and individuals access to over 20,000 nutritional products, and they are shipped direct to your door. Because Susan Essentials is certified in plant-based healing, we're permitted to offer you the best nutritional supplements on the planet. They're non-GMO and sustainably produced, and we take the guesswork out for you. Let Susan Essentials help you take control of your health today.
I'm Beata, your holistic life coach. These days, it's more important than ever to work on your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Are you consciously breathing deeply in stressful moments? Do you have a plan or daily routine to maintain balance in your awesome body? Are you struggling to be disciplined in your eating habits? When you partner with me, I'll help you develop a personalized health plan that works for your particular lifestyle. You can find out more about me at yourholisticlifecoach.com, where you can also review my 3-step protocol to guide you to abundant health. That's yourholisticlifecoach.com, and I'm Beata.
Do you worry about finances, family, health, job, relationships? Are you in pain? Do you feel stuck? If you answered yes to any of these questions, help is available. Don't worry, you're not alone. It's part of the human process. You only feel this way because you haven't mastered the voices in your head. No hype, just down-to-earth, solid, workable tools and techniques that you can practice daily. It's really food for the soul, whether you want to learn how not to worry about anything, reverse type 2 diabetes, publish a book, promote your product or service, or just make extra money. To take advantage of the deal of the day, go to zeldaspeaks.com or call 312-409-6619. Mention promo code The Female Solution and get free shipping. That's zeldaspeaks.com or 312-409-6619. Stop worrying today. Visit zeldaspeaks.com.
And we are back. You are listening to and watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naima Latif, sitting in for our Monday morning mindfulness host, Zelda Speaks, and we are here with our first Monday of the month guest co-host, Lionel Abdul Haqque, giving us some insight about Mission Impossible and Black history. What is the connection, and what can we expect? And what is happening behind the scenes that we don't see? You know what always fascinated me about that series, Brother Lionel, is that each of them had a particular skill. Each of the members of the Impossible Mission Force had a particular skill that was part of the whole deception that they had to create. And each of them played a role in creating a diversion, while the black man, who happened to be the technician, played by Greg North in that earlier series, was doing the work behind the scenes to make whatever their mission was manifest, so that by the end, everybody was able to be successful. What I always found fascinating was the fact that you wouldn't possibly guess the kind of deception that they had created, because it seemed to be an impossible thing to do. And each episode, of course, we would hear what the mission was, but we wouldn't hear how they were going to do it. That's why it was always such a fascinating thing, because they would be told what it is they had to achieve, and it seemed impossible given the circumstances, and yet at the end they would succeed based on everybody doing their role, and you didn't always understand why people were taking on certain positions. and yet it all fit together at the end. And when I look at the impossible mission that we have to change this world from its negative direction, and you look at all of the seemingly powerful forces that it would appear to be impossible to overcome, as you pointed out, the transformation always comes from some place that you would never suspect. What's happening behind the scenes you would never know, such as the birth of someone, the one we know as Jesus, Yeshua ben Joseph, the one who brought such enlightening teachings. And at the time, the rumor was there's going to be a Messiah, there's going to be a Savior, there's going to be this great person. Everybody's thinking of some warrior-type person that was going to come and raise an army and challenge the Romans and get people to fight back because they've been beaten into such submission. But he didn't do any of that. What he did was bring a new thought that revolutionized their thinking, to remove the fear that they had of being disempowered, and the fear that they had had been instilled in them that they could be imprisoned or tortured or killed, and so they had been so beaten into submission that they didn't dare challenge the powers that be. But he came and brought a teaching that said, you have the power to create your own reality. You have the power because you have a direct connection to the divine. You don't have to go through the priest or to the governmental structure. You have the power. And that thought was so revolutionary and so dangerous that it frightened the powers that be. And
well, they were all the powers that be were already frightened. They were always aware that the change was going to come. That the threat to their order is going to come periodically, and they were looking for that to happen, and they set up mechanisms to actually to give them signs so that they would know something, anything that was going to create any kind of a positive vibe, anything that's going to start unifying the people, anything that's going to, whether individual or movement. And this is where I was trying to make the connection also with Black history, is in the connection with the movie The United States versus Billie Holiday. Because I've been working on that in the context of it could have been said that the United States was versus jazz. Because before there was the Black Panther Party that was infiltrated by the federal government, before there was the NAACP that was infiltrated by the federal government, before there was a Nation of Islam, a World Community of Al-Islam in the West that was infiltrated by the federal government and broken up and destroyed, virtually destroyed. All of these things was happening in jazz. That the attack against jazz music as a cultural influence that was generating a very positive image of African people and creating a music, a cultural influence that was infectiously drawing people in to a concept of Black people and appreciation for Black people that had not existed. That it was virtually impossible based upon the kind of programming that Black people had gone under since the beginning of slavery, which I've often said, and I'm not the only one, that slavery is not what happened up to 1865. That slavery was really kicked off in full force in 1865. When they took the chains off the legs, it was because they had already put them on your mind. And that's where the real slavery is: mental, spiritual, psychological, and behavioral. So the idea of jazz music, when it came on the scene, beginning to change the image of Black folk from people who sang the blues and praised the Christian idea of God, changed drastically when jazz came on the scene. And the government, who just like Herod had been watching for the birth of Jesus, and they say Pharaoh was looking for the birth of Moses, the Savior, somebody to come, but he came from someplace they didn't expect. But the idea is that this is all connected, and that the efforts of the federal government to stop the movement of jazz, the influence of jazz, to take jazz off the mainstream and put it on the back burner, is part of that same idea, that the mission impossible that they are trying to continue to do is to stop what God has intended, what Allah has intended, and that is a order that is based upon growth and universal principles.
You know, what's amazing is that the artists who are inspired to bring a message through the power of sound will continue to receive the inspiration from the divine to put forth the message that will transform thought, even if the government seeks to crush one music form as a means of stopping higher consciousness and higher thought. It will come through another way. And this is what we were saying earlier about inspiration and receiving, because the inspiration comes from the divine, which, as you pointed out, no one can stop. The governmental powers cannot stop this, because it is the power of creation of the universe. So this transformation of the world is going to happen no matter what machinations they come up with. It doesn't matter, because the plan of the divine is to take back this world from the negative energies that are keeping us in a state of confusion. And it's going to happen in a way that they are not going to be prepared for. You look at how the conscious rappers that were bringing forth messages, suddenly you see a conflict being created, and then people being removed from the planet in a violent way. And we know that this is part of the orchestration to try to prevent this art form from having the same mentally liberating effect that jazz had and other kinds of liberating creativity. So,
well, see, that's another connection with this jazz thing I wanted to point out is the music that they had in the series. It's the same music soundtrack that they use in the movie series. Dun 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 dun. That music that's jazz. That's jazz, baby. It may have been played or created by Henry Mancini, but it's jazz, and that's what triggered this review that I'm giving, because I was in a conversation. I've been working on this for a long time. I have not done a review of Mission Impossible, even though it has always been a favorite of mine, until I started talking about this connection between the music of the series and the movie series, and the story that I was working on with United States versus Billie Holiday. It was like I was in a conversation, sister, and it was like a bolt of lightning struck me to see the connection between United States versus Billie Holiday and the Mission Impossible series and movies. The jazz music triggered and opened up a whole vein of understanding. I've been writing this review ever since. So that's why I wanted to talk about that on today. It was like an experience of time, a long time I've been working on this, and it all came together in one moment of conversation with a brother at the bus stop.
Well, you know,
I can't tell you how much that experience meant to me.
Well, you know, the song that made Billie Holiday a target, of course, was "Strange Fruit" when she was singing about the lynching, and once they realized that this was a protest song that would arouse people to fight against lynching, then she became an artist that was targeted by the powers that be. And
absolutely,
because unfortunately, because of her own drug use, she ended up giving them the tools with which to bring her down. But that is a lesson.
Well, the drug problem had already been, part of the
it was already there. But
yeah,
the fact
but it was that came in through the government as well. That was part of the government process too.
Oh, absolutely, and that was something that has been used in many instances to disrupt organized efforts. So we have to learn from all of these experiences of those that have gone before us, that we have within our hands the power to create and the power to change thought, which manifests in a changed behavior, which removes the illusion of power of those who believe they control the earth, because they don't. That's an illusion. And like you spoke of illusion.
That's what Satan is, an illusionist. Satan is an illusionist. He is a liar. And so the lies and the fantasy. When you were talking earlier about the rap music, one of the things that I pointed out during my work with Zelda Shaloma is that the rap music has two things that they have come up with: get real, and you better recognize. Those two phrases that is clearly a part of the hip hop rap music culture are speaking to the reality of the illusion and false orientation that Hollywood has created, that the TV movie scenes have created. The false images, the idea of never wanting to grow up, wanting to have fun all the time. This is not consistent with the ideas of growth. This is a stagnant, infantile, childish way of thinking and behaving. And this is what they have given the world, the modern world, as a ideal of life. And it is unsustainable. So just as the will of God, the will of Allah, is an impossible mission to stop. The will of Allah being that we grow and evolve from infancy to our maturity, to understand that the journey of the soul is ongoing, that this is not the end of it, and that the real key to our salvation is our connection to and devotion to the principles and ideals of natural law and divine guidance that we find in natural law that connects us with each other in a way that allows us to continue to grow and progress as a human society. And when we lose that, because we've been deceived into and misguided into this fantasy, childish, magic kingdom mentality of never wanting to grow up and wanting to have fun all the time, we will be killing ourselves. We will be cutting ourselves off from the fundamental idea that allows us to grow, which is our respect for and appreciation for our Creator.
You know what's really fascinating, as I've been reading on such the impact that the spiritual movement initiated by the one we know as Jesus had one of the greatest challenges to transforming the people was getting rid of their fear. And that's been the tool that's been used to keep people, as you said, in that misguided state or that easily manipulative state where people are believing the illusion that others have power over them. And one of the most liberating things in his mission was demonstrating that no one has power over you. When you have mastered your own mind, no one can deceive you, no one can suppress you, no one can oppress you. And if you remove your fear of death because you understand that you are an eternal being, then no one has power over you and you have mastery of your own life. And even if your physical body is injured, no one can stop the thought that you have planted that will change the future. And his demonstration of that was so powerful because even after this horrific experience of the crucifixion, the philosophy that was taught continued to go forth. And those who wanted to keep the people in a state of enslavement and servitude, fear, eventually.
Well, there was also a misrepresentation of what Jesus taught. Also, a false image of Jesus that has been perpetuated in the modern world. The idea that Jesus is God. That idea did not come from Jesus. That didn't come from. He never told nobody he was God. It's the way that they have interpreted and propagated what the world perceives as Jesus is where the problem lies. And that's how it happens over and over again. If they can't stop the movement, they try to jump into it and take it off course and change it into something else in the name of the one who came before with the real message. So the idea of deception is still operating. Part of their mission is to not only stop it before it can come in, but if they don't, to change it and jump into it and say that they are part of it, while in actuality what they're doing is misrepresenting and changing what was really sent by the Creator to free the people from slavery. And it's the same thing. You said fear, but foolishness and lies and fear. Foolishness and fear are the left and right hook, the hook and the crook of the satanic mission. And the one thing that will overcome both is the idea of our devotion, our sincere devotion to our Creator, and the exercise of those natural principles of goodness, sharing, and being unafraid to stand up and speak truth to power.
Absolutely. Well, as you've said, that people are deceived, and the one we know is Jesus even predicted, the whole world will be deceived. So because he foresaw that they would take the
But he wasn't the only one. Prophet Muhammad did it too, and so did Moses and Abraham. The whole concept of the history of the modern world's understanding shows that in order to have a lie, you got to have some truth in it, and the key or the guidance that I think comes from the sincerity of those who are seeking understanding is that they will be able to see and to separate the truth from the falsehood.
Right. Well, the whole idea that you need other people to tell you about God in order for you to understand your Creator, that was part of the deception that Jesus came to remove. And for those who are believing their self-created illusion that they control the world, they're not realizing that once people's minds are free and they realize they have their own connection to the divine and they have their own power to create, then these people no longer have control. They no longer have power because the illusion is no longer being supported by mass thought. And this is what is not expected to happen, because those who believe themselves to be in power are not seeing where the revolution is going to come from. They're not seeing that it's going to come from a direction that they're not expecting, just like with the birth of Moses, the birth of Jesus, even the birth of the Prophet Muhammad, and all of those who arise to change thought are people who are able to inject a new idea into mass consciousness in a way.
Well, it's not really a new idea. I don't think it's happening as a new idea. The idea that continues to resurrect people, the idea that continues to resurrect people the most is the idea of one God who has a plan, a master plan, and that the faith in that one God. Pardon me?
And that power of the universal spirit of creation is accessible to all and not just the property of one group of people that's in power. That's the delusion that, as you said, that we were deluded into believing, and that's what held us in that state of powerlessness for so long, believing that we didn't have access to the Creator. We were not the reflection of the Creator. We had to go to somebody else.
You can't be. The idea of being a reflection of the Creator or connected to the Creator is something that is the key to our continued resurrection. That as long as we remain focused on the idea that God is and is God, that we can always be inspired through that sincere appreciation to get up and go to work, and not to be afraid to get up and go to work, and to continue to work despite the difficulties and the challenges that it may pose because everybody else is going in the wrong direction. So the idea is to continue to perpetuate this faith. It is not just in man himself. The idea, La ilaha illallah, is a principle that is fundamental to the Muslim way of life. That you have to make an open declaration and that you have to commit your life to manifesting the idea that there is nothing worthy of my fear, nothing worthy of my obedience except Allah. And Allah is not a man, is not a group of men or women, but it is those who submit to Allah and are tuned in that spiritual context and do the work that has to do with charity, good deeds, helping the homeless, and standing up against lying devils.
Well, there you have it. We're going to take our last break, and we got a bunch of callers on the switchboard that want to participate. So if you're listening online and want to join this conversation, give us a call, 515-605-9325. Press 1 when you're ready to speak, and we will open your mic. We're going to come back and take the callers on the switchboard, 312-677-773-737, coming back to you after the break. And, of course, if you're on our switchboard and also want to speak, just press 1. And if you are watching us live on Facebook or YouTube on the Female Solution, we also hopefully share this also on Higher Learning Network TV, then feel free to write in your comments and we'll share them with our listening and viewing audience. And our Friday morning and Sunday evening host, Viata says, Grand Rising. Yes, Grand Rising to you, Queen, as well. And we will be right back after these brief messages, so we want you to stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be back in a moment, so stay with us.
Hey, it's time to take charge of your health. I'm Viata, your holistic life coach, and every Friday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, I'm here on The Female Solution to empower you to make choices that will assist your evolution to abundant health. I'm also blogging every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at Soul Purpose Healing, where I bring you a spiritual chiropractic adjustment to bring you back into alignment with our Creator's love, compassion, and wisdom. Join me every Friday morning at 8 a.m. and Sunday evening at 8 p.m. for a time of unity, enlightenment, and love vibrations. Shalom.
Tune in to Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green on Thursdays at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time and 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to hear great topics and stories on grief and turn it into victory. Join Dr. Debbie Green to listen to stories of triumph and learn how to overcome. You are not alone in your life, and there is hope in the darkest hour. This is your time to learn strategies and solutions to improve your life. It's your time. So join Dr. Debbie Green with Soulful Solutions and call in on Thursday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time and 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at 515-605-9325 with comments and questions. Look to hear from you real soon.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif. Join me and my co-host Kareem Hamid every Wednesday morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on the Female Solution Radio Show as we explore that relationship that is the foundation for our society, the relationship between men and women, husbands and wives. Join our discussion as we seek to repair broken family ties and rebuild our community. Listen online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution. Call in and comment 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak to our host. Or you can join us live on Facebook at www.facebook.com/the-female-solution. Back. You're listening to and watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naima Latif, sitting in for our wonderful Monday morning mindfulness host, Zelda Speaks, and we're here with our regular first Monday of the month guest co-host, Lionel Abdul Haqque, talking about Mission Impossible. How does that relate to what we're experiencing today? Well, you know what's amazing, Brother Lionel, and I always find it fascinating that there is a revolution happening right in front of our eyes, and it's all over the internet. People of higher consciousness are connecting with each other, and thought is being transformed, and people are being spiritually liberated from all the deceptions that have plagued us and paralyzed us for ages. And not only are people changing thought, they're putting in place new systems of trade, new systems of food production, new systems of health maintenance and healing, and it's right under our noses, right there on the internet. But you'll only see it if you are attuned to the higher conscious mind that will guide you to it. If you're on that lower consciousness, like you talk about, the people who are distracted with so many sport and play and all of the mindless self-destructive acts, drugs, alcohol, they don't even know it's there. So the people, maybe the powers that be, think, oh, we've won. We're keeping them divided. We're keeping them distracted, we're keeping them in conflict, but they don't realize right under their noses, visible and hidden in plain sight, is a revolution happening. And people of higher consciousness are connecting right on the internet and creating the new world right in front of their eyes, and they don't see it because you got to be of higher consciousness to find it. Just like tuning into a radio station. If you're not on that frequency, you're not going to hear the words. You're not going to even know it's being played. You're not going to realize it exists. But it's happening right in our midst, just like every other spiritual revolution. The powers that be are looking in one direction, and it's actually happening somewhere else. And by the time they realize where it is, it will already have manifested, and we will already experience the change. That's the wonderful thing about the Creator, because that's who's in control. And that's who's able to use all of these things to manifest this new world and to manifest this very powerful spiritual revolution that is happening right now in our midst. It's amazing.
My concern with the internet is an artificial intelligence that is a big part of what's going on the internet. Is that it's I think to a great extent it is counterproductive. I think to a great extent the internet I'm one of the old school people. I believe that direct sales is better than over the internet. I think that you can make more money, but direct sales has something to do with interpersonal relationships. I've been in sales all my life virtually, and one of the most important books that is circulated among salespeople, whether it's real estate, insurance, or whatever, is this book called The Greatest Salesman of the World. It's almost practically sacred among professional salespeople, and
you're right. Definitely about personal relationships, and definitely that is one of the things, if we're not careful, will be destroyed, is the ability to truly connect with a live person. That's why we have to be careful that our upcoming generations don't lose that.
Well, it's already happening. It's already happening. People don't even talk to each other. They text all the time. They don't even want to talk to you on the phone anymore. And I think that that's part of the program of AI, artificial intelligence. That artificial intelligence is artificial intelligence by the very concept is rooted in satanic idea. It's human intelligence is good. It's the best, and human means to be caring. When you take the caring nature out of intelligence, you are inviting Satan right into your home. You're inviting Satan into your life, and it becomes a programming that continues to separate you from your natural relationships. And the psychological problems that's happening in America in particular, the reality of artificial intelligence is very much a threat, and it is becoming more of it every day. So I'm not an advocate of artificial intelligence, and the internet is a good tool, but it could also be a very deadly influence. And I don't think there's been enough study and research on it to merit an open invitation to just jump on it and have engage without some considerable preparation and concern.
Well, let's take a few callers on that. And of course, everything is either a tool or a weapon depending on the consciousness of its user. But let's go to our callers. Area code 314-677. Your mic is open. Give us your name, where you're calling from, and your comments for our guest host, Lionel Abdul. Go right ahead.
This is Bianchi.
No,
artificial. How you doing?
You just got through reiterating on revolutionary and changes happening before your eyes. Well, that's what's happening with artificial intelligence. It's a good thing. Matter of fact, you can have teachers as robots that can give a class on the subject matter just as well as a human being can. Because within that artificial intelligence, it is composed of many experiences. And more experiences than any one human being would be exposed to. So when a question or a problem arises, it has a database that it can resort to faster than the human brain can. And it's
we know how it works, brother. We understand how it works. That's not the issue. My concern is based on.
Hang on for a second. You do, but that don't mean everybody else does. That's why people fall subjective to exploitation because they don't understand how to work. Some do, and many don't. But anyway, that's what I want to say.
They say fools rush in where wise men fear the tread too. That's an old saying, and it's very much true. You got to proceed with caution. We know that the people who came up with the industrial revolution harmed a whole lot of people, put a lot of children in those factories, and didn't care much about the people. It was interested in the money. And so the same kind of revolution is happening with AI technology. And they're just now starting to talk about putting some kind of regulations and controls, but I think it's already too late. The problem is that we are being misled, bamboozled, run amok, and led astray by the same people who've been doing it all the time. They got the power and the influence to do so.
Give an example of how this misled is going. See, we throw these words out here to be a general application like spreading peanut butter on bread, but what is this? What does this misleading look like?
Well, it looks like saying that it's better to drink Tang than natural orange juice. You remember that commercial? The programming of the modern world has got us to the point we don't even want to drink water. People drink very little water, and that's because of the programming we receive. And the programming of artificial intelligence, the internet, is very much suspect by virtue of the fact that they use these algorithms that are based on sensation-generating commentary. And so if it generates sensation, if it generates anger, if it generates controversy, that's what gets the internet to direct people into that website or that commentary.
Well,
so
let me comment on your.
It's the same. It's the same
comment on your
the same thing that they did.
Let me comment on your example before you go too far, because you're getting away from a point where you
I was trying to explain.
Well, can you run a show without calling?
Pardon me?
Well, yeah.
Can you have a show if you didn't have? Can you have a show if people didn't call in?
So, Pianki, make your commentary so we can take the next caller.
Well, I'm going to make this commentary. When he made the example of orange juice and Tang, that's a personal choice.
No, it's not a personal choice. It's really a program choice. It's a program choice. The way that they advertise, Tang made you want the Tang over the orange juice.
You know, it's a personal choice, and people who like to give lectures to individuals, like you find in the church, where none of the parishioners would question the preacher, that's what they're trying to set up. Artificial intelligence is doing away with them lecturers. You don't need them no more. You can program into a machine with machine language, whether it's Cobalt, whether it's BASIC, a C2, C+, where you don't need the human being. The human being can go sit on the dock of the bay and watch the ship sail away. It's a good thing.
I think we'll always need human beings. And the artificial intelligence is not going to be superior to human intelligence because human intelligence is connected to the divine. Human intelligence is connected to Allah. And the more we connect to Allah, the better off we'll be.
Let me explain. Let me show you this where it is. It's used, for instance, in the decision on when to buy and sell in stock trades. Human beings cannot respond.
I understand it has some benefit.
Others don't. You do, but others don't. I understand about the difference between Tang and orange juice. Some people would teach that individuals you're supposed to drink orange juice. But here we have a personal choice. You do it by choice. You want to drink orange juice, drink it. If you want to have Tang where you don't have to go out in an orchard and pull oranges off a tree and get bit by mosquitoes and other insects, well, use the Tang. It has its own purpose.
There's more to say about the natural process and how it affects the ecology of the whole than what artificial intelligence seems to be taken into consideration. And I think the consequences of the
we're going to take another. We're going to take a couple more callers before we go. But thank you for your input. He did make a point, though. You know, there is, I guess, a fear of those who are looking at artificial intelligence as to who is programming the artificial intelligence to give what information. But then also, he did point out, it is a personal choice. I think when I mean, you're right, Lionel, that the television and all that, the programming that happens, there is an attempt to control mass consciousness. But everybody also has the power of their own mind. And this is the message of all those spiritual leaders and teachers who came to liberate people by letting them know you have the power of your own mind. So
no, I don't think that's the message. I don't think that was the message that Jesus gave. I certainly don't think that was the message that Muhammad gave. The message they gave was submit to Allah, to be sincere, and to do good, and that you will grow as a consequence.
Caller, we only got about 8 minutes left, so let me take another caller. And I'm going to go to 773-737 and then 3363. Well, let me take 336350. And then 737, you're right after that. 336350, Grand Rising. Thank you for joining us. I believe this is our dear Mama AZ, Grand Rising. Good to see you.
Thank us. Can you hear me, Dr. Lateef?
Yes, ma'am.
Greetings, Brother Lionel, and thank you for this. I'm serious. And also, thank you, Brother Nelson, for bringing up the Bob. All of these things that you're talking about, Brother Haqque has given me major confirmations about what is going on here in Arizona. And this show has helped me to delete some of my fear about being 71 and being put out on the street. Family, I'm facing eviction, but I'm not concerned about it because of the information that I've heard today. And let me get to the point. You talked about, Brother Haqque, Billie Holiday and Mission Impossible. Yesterday, I was put on notice by Francis Thomas. Pastor Thomas is the pastor, or was the pastor, of the Christ Miracle Healing Church, which is there in Harvey, Illinois. Her son was blown up here 19 miles from me in Miracle Valley, Arizona. They had a shootout. Jesse Jackson came to be a part of the investigation, all of this. But the point that I'm saying is, like you said, the Creator, Brother Haqque, put things in motion. And when a representative of the Good Way came, they took it out of context, you see, and you're so on point. And bringing the Bob into this, the Bob represents the gate. That is what Miracle Valley is about. That is what Reverend A.A. Allen established from the get-go. Even though he's not on the planet, Miracle Valley had the opportunity to experience Pastor Francis Thomas and her healing from Chicago and Mississippi, and her son got blown up. But because of all of that, that energy is still there at that gate at Miracle Valley. And as long as we distance ourselves from one another by texting and not talking, that further creates the illusion of disconnectedness. And I know where you're going, and I know what you're saying, Brother Haqque, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate if you took the time, or I would appreciate, Brother Haqque, if you took the time to check out the Christ Miracle Healing Church there in Harvey, Illinois, because there is definitely a connection, and something is getting ready to unfold in a major way. Billie Holiday is up in the house as well. She had to go through that so that ones that are on your level, Brother Haqque, and others can talk about it. Because what is set into motion, family, no matter what somebody does, or the powers to be think they have the powers, they don't. Thank you for this show, Dr. Lateef. They don't. Thank us.
No,
The Miracle Valley, Arizona. Thank us.
Yes, and we'll be talking after the show, Mama AZ. Definitely. Something I want to throw out regarding, texting and artificial intelligence. Everything that has been created by the mind of a human being. And all of these devices are basic imitations of what the mind already has the power to do. We, in ancient past, and I'm sure you know this, Brother Lionel, we had the skills, the telepathic skills, and many of indigenous people never lost those skills, of sending thought directly. We are like radio stations sending and receiving signals. We have the power to do with our own minds what our cell phones and our internet connections, our computers, we have the power to do that with our natural minds. So we may see artificial intelligence doing things, but again, it's artificial. It was created by a human being. But the human mind has the same power to send and receive information. We do it all the time. We just do it unconsciously. So the internet is really just a step toward us regaining that power that we had. So what you see manifest is where people are in terms of where they are tuning in. The lower conscious people are tuned into the lower conscious behavior, and you're right, they do get programmed for self-destructive behavior. The higher conscious people are tuned into the higher conscious information, and they are the ones that are transforming lives, and it's hidden from the sight of those who are stuck on the lower consciousness. They're not even aware it exists. And that's exactly how it's going to be as we evolve more and retaining and regaining our telepathic communication skills. People who are communicating on the higher consciousness will not be perceived by those who are still being programmed to self-destruct. So we're seeing the separation happen right in front of our eyes, and it's happening through our technology. And if you look at what you do with your time and your energy and what you allow to come into your brain and program you, that's letting you know where you are in your consciousness. Are you at the higher state or are you at the lower state? And only those who are at the lower state are the ones who are being programmed and misguided.
Well, sister, the idea of what it is to be human is not clearly articulated and understood by a lot of people. And to be human is not to be a fun-loving person, a person who is foolish and childish, a person who doesn't believe or doesn't put into practice what he believes, who believes that people who have been programmed to think that all they have to do is call on somebody else to be saved has been misled. And that programming that they've received undermines their human potential. And anything that undermines our human potential, I think, is dangerous. And so where people are having these serious psychological problems, where their government is now talking about shutting down social media because there's a negative reality that is being drawn from the experience. So
we got one more caller, Brother Lionel. We got one more caller. You got about a minute before we wrap up. 773-737. Your mic is open. Go right ahead.
Hallelujah. Greetings, Global Transformers. Wayo and Yah Shalom, Grand Rising. Can you hear me?
Peace to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Angel Mama D. Love.
This is Mama D in Chicago. It is written in the Black History Bible book, whose hero is a woolly-haired man with bronze-colored feet to match his bronze-colored face. It's St. John 4:23. That the time was and now is for the true worshipers to worship the Father in spirit and in truth. For the Father
Amen.
to worship Him, and God is spirit, and they that worship Him must worship in spirit and in truth. But most people don't know that their body is a temple, so they worship in churches and in synagogues and in temples made with hands. But he said his spirit will not dwell in unclean temples, and without his spirit you are a dead soul, and he
Thank
is
you,
not
sister.
a God
Amen.
of
Hallelujah.
the dead, but of the living. In addition, Malcolm X said that media is the most powerful entity on earth because it has the power to make an innocent man guilty and a guilty man innocent because it controls the minds of the masses. And my question is, if your choice is based on the minds of the masses that you have been programmed to think, is it really your choice?
Ooh,
Amen.
There you go. Thank you, Mama D. Is it
Amen.
really your choice if it's coming from programmed thoughts? Well, Brother Lionel, we got about 20 seconds before we wrap up. Answer real quick, and then we got to go.
Well, all praise is due to the Most High. I agree with the sister. She's saying exactly what I've been trying to say. She said it in like more concise terms, that the impossible mission that these people are on is to try to stop and to disconnect us from our Creator, from the Father, and from each other, and what it means to be human. So what it means to be human is not to be one who just goes with the program. And the only program that you're really interested in is the one that connects you to your Creator, and everything else is of little value if it is in conflict with that. And artificial intelligence, just by the very name itself, suggests something that is foreign and inhumane. And so I'm not an advocate. I say keep your lights on, put your lights on, and don't and turn on to what being a good human being can elevate you to, psychologically and spiritually.
Absolutely. Well, there you have it. Brother Lionel Abdul Haqque of Community Cultivations. And
that's Community Cultivations Consultants.
Oh, Community
Y'all leave that part
Cultivations
off.
Consultants. And how can people reach you for more information on all of your studies and writings and information?
773-642-1453. I like to talk to people. I hear much more when I talk to you than I can get from a text.
Well, all right. So give that number one more time.
773-642-1453.
All
Love
right.
to hear from you.
All right. Well, we love hearing from you every first Monday of the month, and that's Lionel Abdul Haqque joining us here on Monday Morning Mindfulness. And our sister Zelda will be back next week, of course, to share all of her fabulous information about her travels. And join us tomorrow for our dear sister Jody Susan Calhoun with self-care. And I'm Naima Latif, and of course, as always, we appreciate you and our global family as we continue to transform this world, making this world what it should be, because we will retain control of our own mind so that we can maintain our direct connection to the Creator that is always giving us inspiration and information so that we may be a part of the transformation. That's who we are. That's why we're here. So breathe in and be inspired. And we will see you next time on the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. Until then.
We've come to the end of our show today, but you can hear every show in the archives at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution. You can also hear today's show on the Female Solution Facebook page. Go to www.facebook.com/thefemalesolution. Leave your comments about today's show. You can always reach me on my website at www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com. Watch our TV shows, listen to our radio shows, order our books, and be sure to get your copy of the book, The Female Solution. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussion. And to our global family listening from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, Sheshe, India, Zanyaba, Japan, Arigato, Korea, Kamsahamnida, Russia, Spasiba, Germany, Danke, Poland, Dziękuję, France, Merci, Spain, Gracias, Italy, Grazie, Egypt, Shukran, Ghana, Medasi, Nigeria, Eshe, South Africa, Ngiyabonga, Senegal, Geret, Kenya, Asante, Israel, Toda, Pakistan, Shukriya, Afghanistan, Tashakkur, Saudi Arabia, Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.